From television to film, the entertainment landscape of 2022 has been no shortage of prequel content, but whether there's demand for such media is a different story. Creating a movie out of a video game is pretty risky. Creating a movie out of a video game this well known, even more so than Sonic, is even riskier considering the costly mistake when the Sonic trailer came out.
Meow?
There is a lot of potential for risks though, and just by the trailer, I think a lot of people were surprised at what they saw. So what does the trailer tell us? We enter on what we would expect, Bowser destroying any land that gets in his way. In this case, the land of the penguins, and the Koopas lined up ready for battle. The penguins don't stand a chance as it's water against fire. The visual of Bowser is honestly everything, as Illumination got everything right about the aesthetic of the character, and as many people are saying, looks like they ripped him straight from the Super Smash Bros. Melee version, but just polished him up. Now starting with Bowser was a smart move. MatPat said himself that judging by how they edited the teaser trailer, that the creators were nervous about not only the visuals of Mario, but mixing him with Chris Pratt's voice, and I don't think anybody expected everything to look this good. They obviously used a 3D animation style, which is really smart. The only thing I think is off is his eyes. I don't know exactly what, but it looks like his eye shape just doesn't look right compared to the games we have seen him in. We understand this is his first time in the Mushroom Kingdom, and more than likely doesn't know who Peach or Bowser is. Toad is another character that they did correctly, however the voice isn't Toad. But if you think about it, just like another thing MatPat said, is not everybody would want to hear Toad in his natural voice throughout an entire film. Eventually, it could get annoying. Chris Pratt's voice can take some getting used to, but I believe if we scratch the surface with that, the movie has potential and will be worth seeing. And I cannot find for the life of me the original creator of this, so if anyone knows, please correct me in the comments below. But someone has remade the trailer with the voice that we all know, and this proves the point of who would want to listen to this for 2 hours straight.
Do not touch that mushroom time! Oh, I'm sorry. That one's perfectly fine. Come on, Mario!
Mushroom Kingdom.
Overall, when the trailer was released, I think it took a lot of people by surprise considering how the animation looked incredible, which is one thing that not a lot of people expected. But with the generation we are in and how advanced technology is now, I guess we should have expected that at the very minimum to get the visuals of all the characters correct. The summary of the film reads, a plumber named Mario travels through an underground world with his brother Luigi, trying to save a captured princess. So the trailer is telling us that this is the first time Mario is introduced to this world at all, and we get to see his reaction to this new place. So let's go through what makes a good and successful film overall. There's a lot more than you think when it comes to what goes into any movie in general. The hook is the nucleus of both a film and its screenplay. It is what grabs the viewer's attention, preferably in the first 5 to 10 minutes, as a reader might expect to find a literary hook in the first chapter of a novel. In this case, the hook would be the theme of the film, recollecting Mario's first steps into this world, which would be very interesting as when we were first introduced to Mario, it was in Donkey Kong in 1981. And oddly enough, Bowser wasn't the initial antagonist like we know of today. It was Donkey Kong in the way of rescuing Peach. The big idea, which steering back towards the theme of the story, is its pulse and the glue that binds it together. This is distinct from the work subject, which will act as its foundation. The theme consists of the opinion expressed on the subject. Sure, we have an idea of what this film will entail, as we can see who will be in it from the trailer and the cast list, in the overall story of Mario always needing to rescue the princess, but we don't exactly know the following events of all the obstacles. There's this thing called the 3-act structure. It consists of breaking down the story into 3 separate parts, basically the beginning, middle, and end. In story format, it is the setup, confrontation, and resolution. These 3 must be visually aware and clear to the viewer. The hero's journey, as we writers like to call it, must be meaningful as well. Just in Act 1 is the beginning, inciting incident, and second thoughts. Think of it as the movie Hocus Pocus. We are introduced to the characters Max, Danny, and Allison. During school, he is told about the haunting of the Sanderson sisters, but chooses to disbelieve, thus lighting the candle. All of that is Act 1 of the story, and it was told clearly and successfully. Then comes obstacles that the characters must face, and quickly stopping right there, before the obstacle comes, the audience at this point must care enough for the character to cheer them on and want them to get out of the bad situation. Act 3, as you might expect, is a resolution and descending action when everything everything calms down. As far as the reason why we care about the characters, well, I think that's self-explanatory. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Bowser are characters that we've all been around for generations, so we know who they are and vague description of their personalities from what they do in the video games. Before getting too off track delving into the characters, the last segment of what makes a good movie is the intent and obstacle. Drama is intent, and obstacles, something is standing in their way of getting it. And I think we all know what the intent and obstacle would be of this film. Looking further into how this story could be told, from the people who have played the first Mario game to the last, know the repetitive story of Mario saves Peach from Bowser. However, there is another storyline that they could squeeze in with Luigi, and that would be Luigi's Mansion. Given that the story doesn't technically convey that Luigi is the main storyteller here, but shown in the trailer to get fans excited. And we can notice with the penguins and Cheep Cheeps shown, this is supposed to tell the story of Mario first entering this world, so he has no knowledge of anything here, including Peach. But we know Toad would be his guide, as in many of the video games show. It has always been depicted that Toad was always for and in favor of Mario and Luigi. However, what could be a good twist, but kinda questionable, is what if Toad turned on Mario? We as players could never see that happening, but it's a twist that I don't think anybody would see coming. I don't see the writers completely following the game to a T, as even though we're curious to know exactly where the story is going and most of the players' moves to get there, but I could definitely see this happening. The Washington Post distributed an article asking some questions about this film that maybe a lot of people weren't thinking about. Let me know in the comments down below what questions you have about how they will tell this story and your predictions. The first question asks where Mario is coming from. We see that he pops out of one of the green pipes and has an accent. Most people are looking at maybe a Brooklyn accent and coming from somewhere around that area. Him being a plumber, he could be coming from anywhere, but the brick wall from the pipe narrows it down just a bit. Now this next question could raise a lot of eyebrows. For the first time, we can ask the question, what is Bowser's journey? And actually get a story on-screen answer. It's easy to see Bowser as the villain, but what if the movie portrayed him in a way that we understand him or even feel sorry? Now that would be some good storytelling. I think the Penguins was the biggest surprise appearance, and with how they portrayed the governance, Penguin Nation, it raises questions about what they are all about and why they were the protectors of the star. When announcing the voice cast, Key was labeled simply as Toad. Toad is not just a character though. Toads are a race of beings. This is like casting Keegan-Michael Key as Korean. Is he giving voice to every Korean person or just a Korean person named Korean? That is the conundrum anyone faces when depicting Toad, who is both a person and a people. We know for a fact that Key is voicing Captain Toad, one particular Toad featured in the trailer, but until we hear other Toads, this remains unanswered. The most jarring aspect of the Mario film is hearing Mario speak intelligible, complete sentences. The 1990s cartoon Super Mario Bros. Super Show gave Mario a distinct New York accent, but since Super Mario 64, Mario's voice has been defined by the high-pitched whoops and hollers by Charles Martinet, who portrays Mario with a wild caricature of Italian men. Chris Pratt, meanwhile, seems to be leaning on the stock, every man voice he's deployed in movies such as the Lego Movie. Another good question that I brought up earlier is how and when will Peach come in? We know the story of Mario saves Peach as they are married at the time, but this is the first day he would be in this world, so we would get to see them first meet. I feel like they're going to do away with the concept of coins just for more believability factor of they might just not be able to do it. As discussed, Mario is able to gain new lives by collecting coins. The game is marketed towards children, but almost every game is insidiously and surprisingly difficult. Death is a core part of the Mario experience. In the movie, will Mario be able to gain new chances at life by collecting coins? In the trailer, Captain Toad says some mushrooms can be poisonous, do others offer some temporary form of immortality? This would be the most important question of all. In order to have a successful story, the audience must follow the protagonist. Therefore, the protagonist, in this case Mario, must have a want. And it's hard to depict what this would be considering this is his first time here and he is just following Toad. The games never really explain why Mario wants to rescue the princess or save the Mushroom Kingdom. Is Mario just a good Samaritan? As with Bowser, the film could be a real chance to get to know the baby mustache man and what moves him. Everyone wants something different from a Hollywood-backed Mario film, but it's high time we asked, what does Mario want from all of this? Hopefully these questions are answered once the film is released in May. But before we close out here, I wanted to take a look at some of the things that MatPat from Game Theory has spoken about this trailer. He brought up some very good points on the origin story of it all and what we know versus what we see in the trailer and what the whole movie will tell us. He pointed out how Mario looked compared to everyone else.
I guess he looks more realistic. It definitely deviated away from like the iconic Mario look, and I don't necessarily think you needed to. I don't quite understand why. Like Bowser looks great. Like he looks like ripped straight from the games and then like given an extra polish. This is like, why would you change him so much when you have such an iconically good-looking character in 3D anyway?
He also made some points on how Toad's personality is.
It's more of a personality thing than the sound. Like, I think sound-wise, he's fine. Like, it's not as like, it's me, Toad! But, like, no one would want to listen, it's me, Toad, the whole time! So, like, you don't want that. Like, confidence and aggression, like, that he has.
Back to the question of Mario's personality, MatPat said it best.
Luigi has personality. He's great. Daisy has all the side characters are phenomenal. Mario himself is difficult to hang a narrative around because Nintendo has to be willing to give him like, angst or emotion or feeling.
I never thought of it this way, but he's right. More of the other branched out characters have a clear personality. He is more known for his voice and the hero within the lore of the video games. But let me know what you thought about this, and if you are interested in seeing more of these kinds of fleshed out trailer dissections, or what else you would like to see more of. Until next time.